As we're just less than 15 minutes away from kickoff at the Ellen Road, where former captain Lucas Radebe's former team faces off against Tottenham Hotspur in what will be the first game of the day, match day 7 as far as the English Premier League is concerned. However, the show starts on a somber note. Before all the formalities, the show starts on a somber note following the passing of our former Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, and Mr. Natim Teto, who passed on during the week during his stay in France, where he was South Africa's ambassador to France. May his soul rest in peace. Condolences go to his family, friends, and loved ones. What is going on at Kaiser Chiefs? The timing of FIFA to dock points from Bafana. Who should take blame? Who should be held responsible? Is it a joint responsibility? Should someone lose their job? What is going on at Kaiser Chiefs? Story is Coach Nasruddin Nabi is not entirely out of the picture. However, the Glamour Boys have struggled post Nabi, winless in the last 4 games, which have included a draw and 2 wins, a draw and a loss and 2 draws, and the PSL, that is, not forgetting of course the win against Cabo Scorp of Angola in the Confed Cup to get them to the last 32 of the CAF Confederations Cup, a draw which I will bring you as the show commences. Plenty to talk about as far as the football is concerned. Good afternoon, welcome to it. This is all things football Unpacked. My name is Apiwe Roto. Remember to comment on social media. Talk to me on social media. Get in touch. This is all things football Unpacked. Like the page. Hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notification of new episodes that come in every Saturday. This is our last show before we head into the international break. All to play for Bafana after having those points taken away, 3 points taken away for them, meaning we forfeit. It's a boardroom decision. Lesotho now win by 3 goals to 0, and we've gone down to second with Benin topping the table based on goal difference. Without wasting any time, let's get into the news making headlines in the world of football. We start with Nigerian Kaiser Chiefs. Kaiser Chiefs, rather. News is that Kaiser Chiefs are yet to decide to part ways with the mentor and coach Nasruddin Nabi, despite the 60-year-old Tunisian tactician still missing in the dugout. Now there are formalities and things that have to be applied in order to have him depart the team. We cannot just have him depart the team. There are rules that need to be followed. There are principles that need to be followed as far as the legalities are concerned. Therefore, the relationship, the cracks have been showing for the longest time. The cracks were showing. They've since been exposed. A severance package will prove costly. Let's dissect the hold up in the fixture. Now, they confirmed prior to the trip that the coach had been suspended because due to the fact that he did not have a legit CAF license, which left many people confused because reason being, the reason why people were confused is the coach holds pro UEFA license, which he achieved, which he got in Belgium, alongside the likes of now Chipper United coach Emile. If you heard Sports Night Amplified with Andile, he did confirm the matter. Chiefs have confirmed that he's currently not with the team. In a statement that they released, the matter is went on to read on the Kaiser Chiefs website. The matter is internal in nature and is being addressed through the appropriate process. The statement did admit, however, they did not get into much detail. They have to follow due process. The law this is a legal matter now. In most cases, coaches will be sacked or based on a string of poor performances. Now, we can't exactly relieve Coach Nabi, citing poor performance. Yes, the Glamour Boys have struggled to find the back of the net. Besides, the most they've scored is 2 goals, and that was the opening game against Delhi's on match day one in the Betway Premiership. However, the rest has been 1-0 match, 1-0 wins, 1-0 wins, the goalless draw against Sundowns, the 1-0 win against Richards Bay, Polokwane, another one against Polokwane City, and not forgetting the goalless draw against Mamelodi Sundowns before the loss to Sekhukhune United, which has been their only defeat in this to this day in the league. They are in a healthy standing in the log, so why would the question you can't help but ask yourself, why would you relieve your coach of his duties over one loss? Now let's break down what happens. Usually, when a coach is relieved of his duties prior to his contract expiring, with Nabi with the Tunisian tactician's contract expiring in 2026, June 2026, it usually comes with a severance package, which means they have to pay him for the upcoming 3 months, which is gonna prove very costly for the Glamour Boys. Now there have been rumors that have been doing the rounds over which came with questions over his CAF qualifications. However, they've also been it's it's very confusing. One may feel, yes, confusing to many. However, I'm here to help you dissect the matter. As things stand right now, the hierarchy will be aware that there will be serious consequences if they sack the coach without any legal ground, because they have no legal grounds to sack the coach. The French-speaking mentor is not, and even worse, if the mentor does not agree to mutual terminations. If, however, Kaiser Chiefs are serious about relieving the coach of his duties, they need to proceed to follow certain procedures which are implemented by the law. Now, Kaiser Chiefs have been on the receiving end of transfer ban, where they could not sign players for 2 straight seasons. You remember very well the 2020-2021 season, the 2 season transfer ban where they lost all the key players to other big teams. So if it happens that they fire the coach without proper notice, there might be legal actions that may be implemented. There's a delay in the matter being sorted out as a result of this. Now, if any of these steps are missed, however, he could go take them to the CCMA for unfair dismissal, and if the dismissal is deemed unfair, the employer can be reinstated or be compensated for lost wages. Well, stick around with all things for stay tuned to your number one online sports show. Will keep you up to date as far as the happenings in the world of in the happenings of the Coach Nabi and Kaiser Chiefs saga. On to your other story. Coach Mamelodi Sundowns coach Miguel Cardoso has expressed relief at the welcoming the upcoming international break, which starts on Monday, meaning they get to rest for a full week before going back to football. Now, the champions are currently occupied with domestic and continental football, having won the league. Them winning the league means they'll face Remo Stars in the CAF Champions League round of 32, as they did not play the preliminaries because of a bye. He has voiced concerns as far as the domestic and continental commitments. Now, in different parts of the country, you Coach Napi has also complained about the expectations that have come with the league, because in most leagues in the world you only play once in a week, which is the weekend. However, in the PSL you play twice. Furthermore, in Europe, different parts of the world, be it the European football, you have your domestic tournaments, and not forgetting the UEFA Champions. You've seen the UEFA Champions League, you've seen the Carabao Cup, and of course the FA Cups, which usually take place during the week. Now, in a story, the Portuguese tactician recently reached a 50 match milestone at World Cup. However, he did voice concern with the football calendar from domestic and continental perspective. Furthermore, The good news is that the champions will have a rest after the Carling knockout, which takes place tomorrow. Their game against Moromo Gallants, which takes place tomorrow in a repeat of what was last season's semi-final, where they emerged 2-0 victors at the Dr. Petrus Molemela Stadium before falling short to Magesi, where they finished runners-up. Now they're yet to use their new signings. They cited excitement at the break, citing that it will come in handy for the recovery to integrate new recruits in. Tsiki Ntshabeleng is a new signing along with Miguel Rachinho, who is yet to start, and of course Nuno Santos, who will get time to join the squad and adapt to the philosophy of the side. In a statement he wrote, I think we have all have a great opportunity this week to to prepare these players for the future. This week's rest is full of this week is quite rare to have in South Africa. The players are training today, but they are off resting for the next 2 days because they come from a head to schedule. Now, if you remember clearly, Coach Mohsin Etrigar during his early Kyle Chiefs days did complain, expressing concerns over these players, them competing for their national teams and coming back to play in the league, citing that now we do know that players are human beings and not machines. However, we cannot, should it happen that a player is called up to the national team, it wouldn't make sense for the team to deny that player access the right to join their national team and create a name for themselves. Now let's find that story back. It goes on to say it's a rather lengthy statement. However, I'll try and summarize it for you. Santos has already started twice. He started in the game against the Golden Arrows, where they went down by 2 goals to 0, and the World Game win against the Durban City, where they won by 3 goals to 1. With that, where he created 2 assists and 1 man of the match. He goes on to say, if Rachinho shows the capacity for 20 to 30 minutes game time, we have no problems because we are lacking the capacity to introduce more attacking players from the bench. We only had 3 for this match. This was after the game against Durban City, I believe. Reflecting on the transfer window, Sundowns felt simply ran out of time. Coach says he simply ran out of time to recruit even more reinforcements. Now, if you remember, I believe reason for this is that Sundowns were, by the time the teams were making those signings, Mamelodi Sundowns were in action in the USA, taking part in the FIFA Club World Cup, which is now 32 club side. Some of the players we tried to sign, we could not get over the line because of this and that, he goes on to say. The football's governing body, FIFA, has finally docked the 3 points, much to the relief of many teams. I talking that they've finally docked the 3 points again from Bafana. Now, much to the relief of the many teams that have been complaining. Now, the docking of 3 points is nothing new, and on the continent we saw it with Botswana with Ethiopia being docked 3 points after fielding an eligible player against Botswana, which giving them sorry giving them a 3-0 win in a board via a boardroom decision. It was not going to slip. It was not going to be a secret. It was going to come out eventually, and South Africa were going to be punished eventually for the poor decision. Now, who should take accountability? We ask ourselves, should it be a joint responsibility for the board? A very expensive blunder, which could cost Bafana a place in the cost our national team a place in the world's biggest showpiece, which is now extended to 48 countries. 10 will be representing Africa. That all the work will be for nothing. About to get underway, we are going to see Tottenham rather, traveling to Leeds at Elland Road at a sold-out Elland Road. I'm going to give you the starting 11 of the two teams as the game show commences. It's currently underway, by the way. Just kicked off at 1:30. You can catch it on your World of Champions. They made the decision to dock 3 points for fielding Mamelodi Sundowns midfielder in Tebogo Mokoena, who was supposed to miss the game against Lesotho after accumulating yellow cards against Benin and Zimbabwe in prior matches. Now, the rules state that even if it happens that there's the World Cup and the AFCON qualifiers taking place at the same time, had that second yellow card been awarded at the AFCON qualifier, it would have been irrelevant. He would still be allowed to play. However, the second yellow card was given during the World Cup qualifiers, meaning he should have missed the World Cup. He should have missed the game against 2-0 win against Lesotho in Polokwane. Therefore, he was not supposed to play because he was suspended. However, they would go on to sit him out in the game against Benin, at that 2-0 win against Benin and Abidjan, to avoid matters. In a statement released by FIFA, the statement reads, the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has sanctioned the South African Football Association for having fielded an eligible player, Tebogo Mokoena, in the South Africa versus Lesotho match played on 21 March 2025 in the FIFA World Cup 2026 preliminary competition, thereby breaching Article 14 of the FIFA World Cup 2026, the statement read. It goes on to say, consequently, that the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has declared the match in question to be forfeited by the representative team of South Africa by a score of 3-0. Now, SAFA, the South African Football Association, have been ordered to pay a total amount of 10,000 Swiss francs, which translates to plus minus 215,000 rands in South African notes. These parties were notified of the terms of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee. Now, many have argued that why did Lesotho not appeal for the matter? Why did the outsiders appeal for the matter? We had Benin complain, we had Nigeria complain, we had Ethiopia complain. Reason being, Nigeria were docked 3 points because they committed the same error and people took accountability for it. Ethiopia committed the same blunder and they suffered for it. Benin committed the same error in the past and they suffered for it. Now, the statement goes on to say that the parties were notified in terms of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee in accordance with the relevant provisions of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee. They have 10 days in which to request a motivated decision. If requested, would subsequently be published on fifalegal.fifa.com. The forfeiture remains subject to a potential appeal. Should we appeal? According to me, I feel an appeal will be a waste of time and money because we are going to suffer the consequences. Yes, we love our nation, but rules are rules. We cannot get special treatment because we are South Africa. A rule was broken and we must suffer the consequences. It's sad, but it's true. As a result, Bafana Bafana are now on second in Group C, sitting level with Benin, who are ahead on a goal difference and will be facing off against Zimbabwe and Rwanda in the final two qualifiers of the last two rounds. The last two rounds will see Bafana Bafana facing Zimbabwe this coming Friday at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in a game that Zimbabwe will be hosting Bafana Bafana and Moses Mabhida Stadium. Reason being, Zimbabwe stadiums do not meet FIFA and CAF standards. On to our other story, news that has been making big headlines as far as the PSL is concerned, starting with the South African Football Association. Who have since broken. We're still talking with the South African Football Association and the docking of the points. They've since apologized. Now, Bafana Bafana were docked 3 points for fielding an eligible player in that game, which took place on Human Rights Day on the 21st of March. Therefore, they've acknowledged their error and have apologized to spectators. But is the apology enough? Someone must take responsibility. Sad, but it's true. It sounds harsh. It sounds cold. It sounds cruel. However, someone has to take responsibility. Otherwise, all the hard work will be for nothing. They've since apologized in a statement. The statement released on the SAFA website. The statement reads: The South African Football Association acknowledges a ruling by FIFA's disciplinary committee, which sanctioned the association for erroneously fielding midfielder Tebogo Mokoena during the 2026 FIFA World Cup between South Africa and Lesotho, played on the 21st of March. In terms of the decision, FIFA declared the match to be forfeited by Bafana Bafana with a scoreline of 3-0. The association has also been ordered to pay 10,000 Swiss francs. As SAFA, we are deeply disappointed by the unprecedented outcome, noting that it was delivered by a single member panel without reasons and without affording the association an opportunity to present legal arguments. Let's have a conversation. A blunder was made. Why should there be an argument? Why do you want to appeal the decision? We can always appeal the game against Nigeria. The goal equalizer was scored, which hit the hand before it went into the net. Yes, it was headed into the goal was headed into the goal, headed into the net, but it hit the hand before it went into the net. What are we doing about that? We go back to 2016. Bafana were awarded a controversial penalty due to a supposed handball, which was not a handball. Senegal required a replay, which we lost by 2-0, costing us a place in the FIFA World Cup for 2018 in Russia, and a life ban from football for referee of the day, Joseph Lamte from Ghana. What happens next? Who should be held accountable? We saw the South African Football Association's office were raided by the Hawks not too long ago. Is there more to the South African Football Association that meets the eye? What is going on with our football? The under 21, the AFCON under 20, which took place in Morocco, and were not paid anything. They did not get an incentive. We had a Banyana player in Germany, Sipposino, retire from football, citing the lack of support for women's football. Why is women's football in South Africa not a professional sport? Why do we still have semi-professionals? Why is the women's league not a professional league? Why do our women have 9-to-5 jobs when they can play football as a 9-to-5 job? It's 2025. Now, this sounds controversial, but it needs to be addressed. It sounds controversial. However, we need to address the matter. Fanatics, if you like the show, I apologize for the picture quality. It's a work in progress. You like the show? Like and comment. Join in the conversation. Let's have a conversation. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind regarding the happenings of our football? Where is our football going? Give me the thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Go to TikTok at allthingsfootball_14. We are available. Take Instagram at allthingsfootball_14. Facebook page. Like the page. All Things Football. Football Unpacked. I appreciate the support. Let's go for those 10,000 followers. We're gunning for 10,000 followers. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind? VAR. How is it that after VAR was introduced during the 2018 World Cup, we did not have VAR in Africa's FIFA World Cup qualifiers? That goal shouldn't have stood, but it stood anyway. Why are we not having these conversations? I feel personally, appealing the decision to have a 3 points docked, we had it coming. It was a blunder. Someone must be held accountable. A joint responsibility. Someone must be held accountable. We saw an interview with Kenyan national team coach Benny McCarthy, who's also a former Bafana Bafana forward, citing that heads must fly. Someone must be called to task because all this work will be for nothing. We were doing well not too long ago, topping the table, going as favorites, needing just 3 points to win the group. However, now we have to win three. We have to win both games. A draw is not an option, and score a rack of goals in the process. As things stand right now, in the league, in the log, we are behind Benin, who top the table on 14 points. We are also on 14 points, based on a goal difference. Head to head is irrelevant as far as the World Cup is concerned. Yes, we have a head to head that works in our favor because we are yet to lose to Benin. We've scored 6 goals against Benin, dating back to 2004 when we beat them by 2 goals to 0. And of course, in 2023, when we won by 2 goals to 1. Then in the Ivory Coast, just earlier this year, when we beat them by 2 goals to 0. Meaning we've scored 6 goals and only conceded once. Is it not? It is not enough. Someone must be held accountable. Now, we're not about. Now, don't get me wrong. All things football is not about controversy. We do not entertain rumors. The show is not for rumors or controversy. We about stating facts. The show is about stating facts. If you do not hear it here, or relevant journalists like Mazola Mlefe or Mr. Veli Lemyandu, it's not true. The story goes on to say, going back to the statement released by the association, despite the outcome, the association emphasizes its continued commitment to supporting Bafana Bafana in their qualification campaign. The players and the technical team has worked extremely hard to reach this stage. Let's dissect that. Worked hard to reach this stage. All that work is for nothing if we miss out on the chance to qualify. And we maximize and remain focused on ensuring they secure maximum points in the matches ahead. We apologize to the nation for this administrative oversight and will reflect on the steps to take at the conclusion of our qualifying campaign. Finally, we call on all South Africans to rally behind the team during this crucial stage of the qualifiers. Now, Bafana Bafana will face Zimbabwe on the 10th of October at the Mozambique Stadium in Durban, a game which will be hosted by Zimbabwe before traveling to welcome Rwanda and Bombela on the 14th of August. Both fixtures will kick off at 1800 hours. Bring it back to the PSL. Another controversial matter. Chippa United, do they have a leg to stand on? Can they back up their statements? According to Chippa United, they filed a complaint with the Premier Soccer League urging the South African Football Association, urging the South African governing body against what they deem to be match fixing. The Chile boys were left unimpressed with a penalty that was awarded to Skone United, who they feel was by referee Pilar Nkosi Kumalo, who they feel was bribed to make the call. Following Chippa United's 1-1 draw with Skokone United at the new Peter Mkaba Stadium last week. The club wrote to the league with the award regarding the awarding of the penalty, which was scored by Bradley Grobler, citing that it's in a game where they citing that most decisions were favoring as the home side, urging even Threco went as far as threatening to take the matter to the South African Police Services, the website has gathered. In a statement they read, "This issue is now a matter of integrity, now a matter of integrity, accountability, and trust in South African football. Our club seeks not only disciplinary action where due, but also proper legal recourse to ensure such conduct is rooted out permanently." Chipper's letter read, in part sent to the league, according to SABC Sport. The Gqeberha-based outfit also sought advice from principals on following the proper channel to take the matter further, and were looking to involve the South African Police Service if push comes to shove. However, a protest will not be entertained. And now the complaints are most likely to fall on deaf ears, because according to the NSL handbooks, the handbook does not entertain. Hence when you saw the story regarding you, I'm sure you saw the heading of the story, or letterhead I should say, the heading, the storyline. Do they have a leg to stand on? No, they don't have a leg to stand on, by the looks of things. Reason being, you cannot have a protest against the referee. We Protests against the referees are not allowed, as decisions by referees are final, and that's that. Article 5.51.2 in the PSL manual under protest reads. Now let's just briefly give you the article 51.2 in the PSL manual. It reads, under protest, the league's code of ethics also binds clubs against seeking external intervention over and above the laws of the game, and from other bodies. Let's find another story here. Apologies for losing that article. It goes 44.1, 44.2 says, in particular, member clubs and member club officials bind themselves to 44.2.3, monitor compliance with the NSL handbooks at all times. 44.2.6, comply with the laws of the game, follow the NSL handbook, CAF, SAFA, and FIFA statuses, not only to the letter but also to the spirit. Complaints or protests of match fixing suspicions or allegations can also be made through the FIFA Integrity Department for review and investigation, handled under strict confidentiality. The channel made available involves all the matches that are FIFA affiliated, including games and national leagues globally. On to our other story. We go overseas a bit. Premier League side Leeds United have appointed former Leeds United and Bafana Bafana captain Lucas Radebe to be the club's ambassador. The former Bafana Bafana captain is no stranger to Leeds United, where he, after joining in 1994, before calling it a day in his football career in 2005 after a successful spell at Kaiser Chiefs. The story was confirmed just last week after the show, on the Saturday, the 27th of September, with the club announcing that they were delighted to have Khatib as a official club ambassador. Now, he had made his appearance he was at the last week's encounter against Bournemouth in the 2-2 draw. He has since that speaking to the former Bafana Bafana defender, he's excited his new role, citing that it is more than just a job, it is a responsibility and a privilege. Congratulations, Tim Kulu. All things football is proud of you. Speaking to the former skipper, he says, "I don't take it as a job, but for me, it's a great responsibility." He did say according to Leeds in his interview with Leeds Live, to be involved in improving communities a long way from South Africa, and for me to share my experience and with help of the program for me, it's class, absolutely brilliant. Reflecting on his return to a packed Eland Road, where he played most of his time along with the late Philman Masinga, after his successful stint with Mamelodi Sundowns at the time. It's hard to describe. It's goosebumps. It's emotions. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was like I've never been away from that place. Just walking into that field, seeing smiling faces, passion, love, people that you know wearing that crest. It is something else. It is just I'm privileged to be able of this position, to able to be in this. I'm just privileged to be able to be in this position. We're still talking of the docking of points. However, talking of the docking of points, a certain coach, a rival coach, has expressed displeasure at why FIFA took so long to dock points. Now, if you remember, Clay, if you've been following the FIFA website, you would remember that they did not include South Africa in the teams that they would sanction points from. However, they would release the matter late at a later stage, citing that they will dock 3 points as far as Bafana Bafana is concerned. Now, Benin coach Gernot Rohr has questioned the fairness of the time regarding the timing of deducting the points, which led to also the fining of Tebogo Mokoena and fining of the Football Association 10,000 Swiss francs, which is plus minus 250,000, 15,000 rand. In case you just walked in, remember you can catch the show on Facebook, you can catch the show on YouTube, All Things Football Unpacked. Give me that thumbs up if you like the show. Follow me on TikTok at all things football underscore 14. Instagram, we are on at all things football underscore 14. And of course, like the Facebook page, all things football underscore 14. Let's talk about what the Benin mentor had, former Nigerian mentor, had to say regarding the matter. Now, there were months after months of uncertainty with regards to the matter. Now, the matter has been making headlines for the longest time. It has left many people complaining. People have been livid. It was gonna come. We're not expecting special treatment. Rules are rules, and they have to be followed accordingly. My football fanatics. Despite the West Africans being on top, the Benin mentor is currently in in the lead. However, he was questioned the fairness of the timing of FIFA's decision in a statement, citing that the decision of FIFA to deduct 3 points from South Africa is a logical one, but it's coming very late. 6 months already. They had to. Why did they take 6 months? In an interview with Brilla FM. Now we have 2 games to play. He has one game in Uyo. Currently underway, Tottenham Hotspur have scored due through Tell and currently lead by an odd goal at Ellen Road against Leeds United. The score is 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. In case you just joined, you can catch that game on Super Sports Premier League. Now we have 2 games to play, 2 games that will be played away from home. They have to travel to Rwanda before traveling to Nigeria to play in Oyo, while South Africa will be playing both their games at home in the qualifiers. Out of the 10, Lesotho and Zimbabwe have played their home games in South Africa, which has deemed by many to be unfair. However, they will try to qualify. I will try to qualify and remain humble. Still on the South Africa, still talking about the World Cup, still talking about the World Cup and the talking of points. Another member who's left unimpressed is former Nigerian international. However, not that is not unimpressed. He has warned against the celebration of Bafana Bafana being docked points in what has deemed as embarrassing. Now, the sanction was imposed on South Africa for fielding an eligible player, as we said earlier, Tebogo Mokoena, in a 2-0 win against Lesotho. Now, the roles have been turned. Bafana Bafana will forfeit the game by 3 goals to 0 to make Group C a lot more interesting. We are now second on the South Africa is now second on the table with 14 points, level with Benin with just a goal difference, only with just goal difference, while Nigeria and Rwanda are third and fourth respectively with 11 points. Lesotho's 3-point gain means they are back in contention for a second place berth. The deduction has reunited. It gives Nigeria hope as they face Benin in their final qualification game at home in Uyo. Speaking to Emmanuel Aminike, he cited that it is good news for Nigeria. However, we have to be realistic. Even with the removal of the 3 points from South Africa, we are still behind. The players should not be celebrated because they did not take 3 points directly. They must focus on winning. The former winger has explained Nigeria's struggles are due to their early stumble during qualifying, and he said the players must remain honest despite the ruling. Obafemi Martins agreed with for another former player was Obafemi Martins, who agreed with the former winger and said that the ruling was a reprieve for Eric Chile's troops, but the side still has a lot to do. Yes, they've been thrown a lifeline. The ball is in their court. They get a second bite at the cherry to take the necessary action, and that is to win the two remaining matches. There is no room for error. A draw is not an option. A loss is not an option, as is the case with Bafana. 6 points are key, and a rack of not just 6 points, but you need to score a rack of goals. You need to score a rack of goals. The South African Football Association has appealed the ruling, stating that the decision was unprecedented and confirmed that they would approach FIFA's appeals committee. Should Bafana appeal the committee, you can have the perhaps you can join in the conversation and talk to me about what you feel with regards to the decision made by FIFA and whether or not they should appeal. Kaiser Chiefs assistant coach, in another story, Khalil Ben Youssef has opened up on his side's missing opportunities. This comes after the missing of penalties, which we saw against Marimo Gallants in that 1-1 scoreline. Now, Kaiser Chiefs had been awarded a penalty to in the game against Marimo Gallants to make it 2-0. However, it would be missed by Gaston Sereno. They were also awarded a penalty to make it 1-1 against Amazulu in the 1-1 draw on this past Wednesday. However, they went on to miss that one too. Which was taken by Claude Lepo. Now, speaking to assistant coach and Khalil Ben Youssef on during Supersport after the encounter, he cites that 50 penalties are a 50% chance chances are 50% you will score and 50% chance you will miss. And you also have to congratulate the goalkeeper as he saved the penalty. Darren Johnson walked away man of the match after putting on a splendid performance for Usutu, saving them from what many would have deemed an embarrassment. Now, as a soccer fan, you would feel that if a goalkeeper would put on that kind of performance to save you that amount of embarrassment, the least you can expect is for him to have a draw, for his team to get a draw and not a loss. 50% is a 50% penalty is a 50% chance. Also, and you have to say congratulations to the goalkeeper. Also, he saved the penalty. We have to continue to work. We have nothing to say now, but we have to continue. We have the opportunity to continue to work. He reiterated that his side need to do better in the final third. I think I have to say I'm happy about the performances of the players. I think a lot of the games we play every 2 games with the same squad. Every time we saw the game, how many chances we create and we create to score. The man of the match was the keeper, so it resumes everything about the game. It says a lot about the game and everything that happened. I said it before that before the game was struggling in the last third. Now, this has been a struggle for Kaiser Chiefs in the last 3 seasons. The opportunities have been created, however, the finishing is just not there. What would it take? What do Kaiser Chiefs need? The finishing is just not there. They are not putting the goals at the back of the net. What happened? Now, they made a number of signings. We saw Flavio De Silva, who came off the bench. We did not see him we saw him on Wednesday against Amazulu. However, he did not make much of an impact. We saw him against Skokone United. He did equalize. He scored the equalizer despite the 3-1 loss. He made his debut against Golden Arrows, where he found the back of the net to secure the 3 points for Kaiser Chiefs. We saw Kanyisa Mayo, who opened the scoring last week against Marimo Gallants, and of course, the blunder that led to the goal, Polemodi's goal, being ruled offside because Maya touched the ball in an offside position. What does Kaiser Chiefs need to do now? We're yet to see at your new signing Echiosa Iguodaro, who picked up a knock in training. We are yet to see Ethan Chislett, who was in the 18-man squad, however, did not get off the bench. And we are also looking to see Kanye Soshenga, who were also signed in the window transfer. On to your penultimate story, we are on Siwelele, and now we're talking of Grant Johnson. We spoke about Siwelele last week, or 2 weeks ago, or a few episode before last week, speaking about how they were making changes. There was the addition of Willem Jackson after CEO Mr. Stan Matthews, and of course assistant coach and Andre Arensa were relieved of their duties. Another one who was relieved of his duties was goalkeeper coach and Grant Johnson, as employment was has attracted a lot of controversy after the years. Now he had been served. He stuck around when the side was sold at Supersport United, sold their status to Siwelele FC due to financial struggles. The club announced on their social media platforms that both Aronsa and CEO had been relieved of their duties due to safety concerns. Allegedly, we don't know how true it is. Did the supporters require these changes? How true is this? Now we've seen coaches and managers being escorted by the cops. Was it the case with Coach Andre Irons? Was this the case with Coach Andre Irons, or CEO Mr. Stan Matthews, or are we being given a pure answer? So far, no. In a statement, in recent times, in recent developments, it appears Stan Matthews has since returned to the club in an advisory role, working closely with the new CEO in Lerato Kolanyana rather. So far, nobody knows. The future of goalkeeper coach Grant Johnson is yet to be known. He is currently coaching the DSTV Diskit Challenge side as the goalkeeper coach for the DDC team. However, it remains to be it. There is no clarity whether he will stay on permanently as a consultant or have to wait and see. In recent matches, Cyprian Mosibe has been listed as the club's goalkeeper coach. On to our final story before we give you your results. Kaiser Chiefs' technical team has confirmed that they are looking to make adjustments to accommodate the expectations that will come and going into the season. The Nigeria-based side are currently in Cape Town and will be playing Stellenbosch on Sunday at the DHL Stadium in the round of 16 calling knockout encounter. Speaking to interim coach Cedric Kase, he did cite that there's a need for change. Now, the list of new signings include Ethan Chislett, who's yet to kick a ball for the Amakosi-based side. Etiose Igadaro is one of them who was injured. Nkanyi Soshinga, Lebohang Mabue, Asanele Felepai, and Lo Bartman are still yet to make their debuts. Lo Bartman is currently in Chile with the under-20, while Mabue and Igadaro have been delayed by their injuries, with the former having just had surgery. In a statement made by Cedric Kaze about players, he says about players, yes, we will see some players because of the 18 last days. It'll be the sixth game, which means we have been playing every 3 days for the past 3 days, and it's starting to be heavy on the players. Also need fresh legs and fresh minds to make it out of the game. On to the Bafana squad to take on Rwanda and Zimbabwe and Rwanda in the last encounters. Uh, it looks like Leeds United have also equalized. The score is now 1-1 at the Elland Road. At Elland Road, as we speak, the game is still in the second half. We're not too far away from halftime. The final squad to face Zimbabwe and Rwanda on the 10th and 14th October, respectively. Goalkeepers go from Ronwen Williams, Ricardo Goss, and Sipo Chena, while your defenders include Malbong Koza, Kuliso Madao, Obre Modiba, Kulumani Ndamane, Mbegezeli Mbogazi, Tabang Matuluti, Samkele Kabini, Nkosinathi Sibisi, Siphephelo Sithole, and Siphephelo Sithole, yes. Midfielders include Tibuko Mukwena, Batusi Opas, Talent Mbata, Tapelo Morena, who returns from injury, Austrian Apollos, Sipombule, who's been exceptional with Orlando Pirates. Forwards include Akram Reynolds, who's been a goal poacher of note for Mamelodi Sundowns, Lyle Foster, Tepang Moremi, who's been exceptional with Orlando Pirates, and Mohamed Kota, who now plays trade in Saudi Arabia, and of course, Orlando Pirates starlet and Relebogile Mofokeng. On to your results from the last week, dating back to the 27th of September. We saw the Battery Premiership fixtures dating back to from the 27th of September rather. Let's see where the results are. We saw Junior Sede Dion, who continued his goal scoring form, contributing in the beating of Orbit College by 3 goals to 0. Sydney Ramapo giving Sekhukhune United their first defeat of the season with that first half odd goal. From an acute angle with Polokwane City winning by an odd goal in the Polokwane derby. Mamelodi Sundowns too strong for Richards Bay, beating them by 4 goals to 1 with a brace from Tashtrick Matthews, another goal from Kutlwano Leclerc, and of course not forgetting Akram Reynolds. Durban City won by 3 goals to 1 against Makesi in a game that kicked off simultaneously at 2000 hours. Goal from Teo Kgopotsane was enough to see Orlando Masiwelele FC against Oromo Gallants at the Petrus Molemele Stadium. Chippa United and Stellenbosch FC could not be separated at the Buffalo City Stadium, playing to a goalless draw. Premier League fixtures saw Brentford proving too strong for struggling Manchester United, beating them by 3 goals to 1. Chelsea suffering the same fate at the hands of Brighton, going down by 3 goals to 1. Crystal Palace going down too strong for Liverpool, beating them at the death by 2 goals to 1. Leeds United dropped their lead at the lot towards the end of the game, with Bournemouth forcing a 2-2 draw, while Manchester City proved too strong for Burnley, beating them by 5 goals to 1. Nottingham Forest going down by an odd goal to Sunderland, losing by 1 goal to 0, while Tottenham and the Wolves would not be separated, playing to a 1-1 draw. Sunday, we saw Aston Villa winning by 3 goals to 1, I beg your pardon, against Fulham, while Newcastle fell short to Arsenal, going down by 2 goals to 1. Monday Night Football saw Everton playing to a 1-0 draw against West Ham, where they are yet to lose, despite conceding their first goal at the New Hill Dickinson Stadium. Orlando Pirates' goals came from Mahopa from the spot kick, and of course substitute Tsegofaso Mabasa to give them a 2-0 win against the Rockets of TS Galaxy, while Kaizer Chiefs played to a 1-0 draw after Thando Lwenkosi Ngwenya's goal was cancelled by Duduzi Shabalala before halftime. UEFA before halftime to give them a 1-0 draw, and of course we saw that misunderstanding where Kanyisa Mayo interfered with play, touching the ball, which was while he was in an offside position. A game goal which many feel would have sealed the fate for Kaizer Chiefs, winning the game for them. We don't know what would have happened. We don't know how the game would have panned out. Kaizer Chiefs had their moments. They did not win. They could not put the ball in the net. However, the goalkeeper did win man of the match. Now, another one I must emphasize is when a goalkeeper wins man of the match, it does not mean the goalkeeper strikers were firing blanks and everything. It simply means the goalkeeper was the busy of the two and he was able to absorb the pressure. Champions League football match 2 returned with Gareth Almaty losing by 5 goals to 0 to 15-time champions Real Madrid. Atalanta winning by 2 goals to 1 against Club Brugge. An odd goal from the spot kick by Victor Osimhen was enough to beat Liverpool by Galatasaray. 3-0 for Inter Milan against Slavia Praha. Chelsea beating Jose Mourinho by an odd goal. Olympique Marseille put 4 past Ajax with no reply. Tottenham Hotspur came down from 2 goals down against Bodo Glimt to force a 2-0 draw. Atletico Madrid beating Eintracht Frankfurt by 5 goals to 1. Barfos also going down by by the same score margin at the hands of Bayern Munich of 5 goals to 1. Wednesday, you saw Union Saint-Gilloise losing to Newcastle by 4 goals to 0, while Karabakh continued their good form, beating FC Copenhagen by 2 goals to 0. Arsenal also won by 2 goals to 0 against Olympiacos, while Napoli beat Sporting CP by 2 goals to 1. Borussia Dortmund going down, beating Athletic Club by 4 goals to 1. AS Monaco proving too strong for Manchester City, beating them by not too strong rather, but the sides could not be separated, playing to a 2-2 draw. While FC Barcelona went down despite taking the lead, going down by 2 goals to 1. Villarreal and Juventus could not be separated, playing into a 1-1 draw. On Telecom knockout kicked off last night with an egg with Durban City needing extra time against a fellow city in Polokwane City, including a hat trick by Fezile Kaba and another goal by Mkize during the game, winning by 4 goals to 1 and winning by 4 goals to 1 to put their head in their quarterfinal stage. Here's what you can expect as far as the round of 16 is concerned as it continues, kicking off last night. Orlando Pirates will welcome Siwelele at the Orlando Stadium in a game that kicks off in less than an hour. Orbit College welcome TS Galaxy at the Olympia Park Stadium. Golden Arrows take on Skukune United at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Sunday, you'll see Mamelodi Sundowns face off against Marimo Gallants. Stellenbosch FC will welcome Kaizer Chiefs. Richards Bay will welcome Chippa United, while Amazulu will face off against Magesi FC. Premier League football saw Bournemouth come from a goal down to beat Fulham by 3 goals to 1 at the Vitality Stadium. While currently underway, the score is 1-1 with Leeds United and Tottenham Hotspur at the Elland Road. Manchester United will face off against Sunderland at an Old Trafford, hoping to get back to winning ways. Arsenal take on West Ham United, while Chelsea take on Liverpool in an anticipated encounter. Sunday, we'll see Everton taking on Crystal Palace at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, while Newcastle entertain Nottingham Forest. Brighton will travel to Wolves. Aston Villa take on Burnley, and Brentford take on Manchester City. Kickoff for their fixture is at 17:30. And that's all we have time for on All Things Football. Thank you in advance for watching. Their support is appreciated and is not in vain. I do it for you. Those who love football, the show is for everyone. We are not for rumors. We are not for controversy. We are just about stating facts. Tell me what you think. Throw in your comments. Hit that like button, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, this YouTube channel if you like. Hit that subscribe button, like the page on All Things Football Unpacked. We are on TikTok at All Things Football _14, at All Things Football _14 on Instagram, Facebook, like the page All Things Football Unpacked. Not forgetting YouTube once again, All Things Football Unpacked. Not in next week due to the international break. Enjoy the show, enjoy the football. My name is Apiwe Roto. Thank you in advance for watching. Let's give it a name and call it a day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.